Welcome everyone to Terminal Conflict. Now this is a game that just came out and it is about the Cold War. And today I'll just be playing like a couple of the tutorials just to see what it's all about. Oh god. Okay.
Greetings. I want to show you something. See here, 2 US Army commands standing together as friends, and it's friends like true companions. Side by side in the crossing point between us and the USSR. And that was the USSR's militaristic move. Its unit type yet unknown, represented by the diamond.
Okay, so
lonely like a dinner for one. The ones who never get to win.
Okay.
As the only
oh my god.
enemy land-based unit in Western Europe, I suspect not to select first BFF Army Command in Italy.
This is a game about essentially the Cold War, and it's a turn-based RTS. And I'm trying to understand how the game works, so I'm playing the tutorial. One of the problems with the tutorial is that it's voiced, and the voice is kind of nice, but
now move it into enemy territory.
For the purposes of a video, it is, well.
Yes. We must be careful when declaring a war zone. Try not to do this too often. We wouldn't want to destroy the world.
Right.
For now, let's press great. After reaching a stalemate, both our and their army commands are reorganizing. This means we need another unit to join in and give us the advantage. Good fan, you see?
Very good. Okay, so this is just the way land combat works, the way sea combat works, air combat, leader combat. Let's see that, because let's see the mechanics for sea combat just to be sure.
Avast, they press their advantage. The Soviet surface fleet declares Italy a war zone and destroys our submarine fleet. A sneaky, open-handed slap. Be mindful. Learning we're vulnerable is more important than thinking we're invincible. Be careful, like our naive enemy. The surface fleet's main shortcoming are attacks from carrier fleets, and we have one combat ready. You know what to do. Okay,
so surface fleet destroys submarines, carrier fleet destroys surface fleet, and most likely submarines destroy carrier fleets.
Is destroyed. Oh no, our port destroyed carrier fleet.
Yeah, okay.
If only we had a perfect weapon to destroy their... Oh, we have a surface fleet.
Yes, okay. Makes sense. So it's kind of rock, paper, scissors. Well, it's exactly rock, paper, scissors. Let's see about air combat.
This is what I call a rough start. Ouch. This is what I call a rough... Think ahead, of course. A plan of eyes on the prize. Enter the world of intelligence.
Okay.
Send a recon mission to Greece. Reveal their units and uncover their plans.
Okay, so we can see with our command reserves, we have inform, I'm not sure what that is, espionage, recon, infiltration, false flag. Okay, so this is all stuff that we can use to...
A lot of enemy army commands. Bombing run. We just have to get rid of that. Don't panic. We'll send an army command across the sea into a surprise attacking position. The surface fleet awaits its cargo.
Okay, so we can transport our armies. Alright, now we can take our fleet and conduct hostile action.
Trying to break through. How ignorant. Gain air superiority. We have a combat-ready fighter command. I'll let you do the honors.
Okay.
Top gun. Both fighters are now reorganizing, and the enemy air presence is swatted. But it's not over yet. We need to disrupt the enemy advance. The bomber command possesses that capability. Let's attack Greece and clear a path for our seafront assault.
Okay, so it seems like combat takes place over multiple turns.
Enemy army commands in Greece into reorganizing. A futile reply. If only they knew. I can't wait to see their faces when we initiate our surprise attack.
And there's a log of things that are happening down to the bottom. I wonder if we can see the log. We do not have access to the other options. It would be great to see the log to see what's, happening, but that's fine. We need to select our fleet.
Surprise!
Okay.
A successful plan. Traverse the worst and end up first.
Yeah, Army Command destroyed in Greece. Very good. Okay, so this is how that works. Okay, actually, I think I clicked on the wrong thing because I'm pretty sure that was not air combat. That was leader combat. Anyway, through their eyes. So this is, I think, playing as the Reds, because before we were playing obviously as the US.
Welcome you back, comrade.
Okay.
Let's quickly defeat these Americans so we can go home.
So victory is established. USSR control of
Don't
the
panic.
Jesus
Knowing
Christ.
how your enemy thinks is vital for victory. The more we learn about the world, the more we learn about...
Tremendous. Soviet knowledge is all you ever need.
Okay.
The Americans have much to learn and much to fear.
It would be great, again, if I could just disable the voice because of the purposes of a video. Anyway, domestic interest mismanagement and uplink terminated by disconnection. Okay, so that's the defeat. That's the victory conditions. Pretty standard.
You probably recognize the world overview. Now updated with state-of-the-art overlays and around-the-globe unit projection. Select Done when you're ready to proceed.
Okay.
The focus management. Select Central.
We need a strong Soviet government to recruit a foreign leader. Select the government interest.
Interest focus. Okay, so there's money, power, military something, and government interest. At the beginning of your turn, gain +1 government. I wonder what +1 government actually means, but I would probably need state affairs to know that. Okay.
Disarmament.
As you've witnessed, the doomsday clock has been reduced. All units have been garrisoned for retirement, including our own submarine fleet. Hopefully, we can redeploy it.
Okay, so the doomsday clock is the countdown to midnight. Okay, so we probably do not want this to go up too far, but if it's too low,
Since
some
only you
units cannot be
opted for
used.
disarmament in this theater, your show of initiative for peace is rewarded with bonus influence.
Okay, so we will place our influence in Cuba. Let's see. Apparently we need
This
to
is a
do that.
great opportunity
Okay.
for the Soviet Union. Select OK.
Okay, so there's an event, so probably when you do things, the game fires events. So in this case, there's the Batista coup. So this morning at 2:40, Fulgencio Batista entered the garrison at Camp Columbia. There, the puppet of the USA received the backing of the armed forces of Cuba to assume the presidency. I appeal for and sincerely pledge to you my devotion. So, okay, we can do 3 things. Okay, so send small covert shipments. +1 influence in the Cuban Bahamian zone and -1 to military. Urge for calm, patience, and fresh elections. +1 to people, -1 Soviet influence. Refuse to grant him patronage. +5% Soviet influence in North America, and -2 influence in the Cuban zone. Okay, so
We shall recruit a revolutionary historical figure. Select the State Affairs menu. Good old State Affairs. You know Fidel, of course.
Yes.
He will help us establish a foothold. Select him and select recruit.
okay, so historical figures have historical stats and abilities of some kind. Looks like.
Now, return to Theater Command and enjoy our moment of glory. Let's fuel the flames of revolution. Fortify Cuba.
Okay, so we take him and we can. Okay, so there's fortify. Spends 1 power to gain 1 influence. And there is... we cannot see it because we do not have access to it. This is what I hate about
I
tutorials.
suspect the enemy is redeploying in strategic regions. Let's attempt an infiltration.
Infiltration. Wonder what that does. Gain 1 military point or embed operatives with the USA deployed armed forces, revealing local fog of war. Okay, So it's telling me to do that in the Caribbean.
Still not intimidated.
Okay, they have a carrier fleet.
More influence. So fortify it again, and we will gain control.
Why would we gain control?
We can take no further
I guess
action.
because our influence
I'm afraid
goes
our submarine
above the
fleet will-
US's.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it? In the
Okay. Well, I'm starting to see how this works. It's basically like kind of a risk, except it's a lot more complicated. Delicate interest. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Now, can I... Mervyn voice. Okay. Let's disable Mervyn for now, so that we can play in peace. Anyway. Yes, so we have the world view, and right now we are playing as the United States, obviously. Faction turn indicator. Taking actions during your turn, finances. Okay. So, victory is to increase the military interest, launch your first mission into space, and enact Red Scare policy. Okay. So this is more like an internal management thing. We need to select our focus. North America. Okay, domestic mismanagement warning. So the military is issuing demands for me. As a nation, you have balanced 5 interests: finance, the people, elites, military, and government. Go on. Cousin Gunalot only wants night vision goggles on the shopping list. How else would he operate in the dark? Okay, so the military wants military spending. Make a decision to satisfy the military. Okay, so that's gonna satisfy the military, which made a demand on me. Arms race enables war zone declaration. Oh my god, see, this is the thing. I would really love to see this log because it just goes by so damn quickly. Anyway, procurement. So state affairs, you can procure armed forces, nuclear technology, space race. Okay. So bomber command. So this is a bomber unit. Costs are money, as you saw. Domestic mismanagement worrying. So that's the people interest. Okay. The space race is an option to defeat your enemy by reaching for the stars. This will impress the people and put a smile on your ant. Choose the space race. Okay. So space race. Doesn't tell you how expensive this is.
We have launched our first object into space.
Oh, our administration uses 1 military. So it's just that the military is pissed. Okay, hold on. So spend free government to block your opponent's next used policy. Red Scare. So this blocks Soviet policies in your focus area. Okay, I see. The big picture is the last tutorial scenario, I think, because balance of power is just a game. On the Brink, Race to the Moon, and 11th Hour are not unlocked yet because, you know, they're still developing it. It's in early access. And there's, I'm not sure what this is. I am really not sure what this is. It's some kind of weird shit. And then there's challenge mode, which is essentially multiplayer. Okay, so let's check out, I guess, for the purposes of the video, let's check out the big picture, and then next time we'll try to play as we'll try to play the balance of power and see how a whole game works. Anyway. Comrade, as communism illuminates the East with our great unifying message, a shadow is ravenous to devour it. Capitalism. Okay, so our victory is we must achieve both 50% control of East Asia, and Mao Zedong's power needs to be greater than 0. Okay. So as the USSR, we need to favor the retreat of the US from East Asia. World overview is enabled, USSR begins. Okay. So we obviously need to pick East Asia, where our influence is only at 10%. We need to be over 50%. Our interest focus, we can pick whatever we want. Okay. We deploy 3 army groups and 1 submarine fleet. Theater status report. Rising local tensions enables mandate for regional war zone declarations. Okay. Cross-theater land and sea maneuvers from adjacent regions on standby. So that's command reserves. Command reserves, we have military liaisons. Wonder what those do. There's Jude, Limbiao, and Peng Dehuai. And then there's a Chinese Dragon thing, which is declare peace and controlled Chinese regions, Red Dragon Rising. Okay, so this probably represents like 1949 founding of PRC. Then we have 9 tank reserves, or army group reserves, and whatever KGB will give us. Okay, so what would be the best focus to pick? What is this actually? Focus points. Each grants 1 turn, replenished by focus selection at the start. That's victory points. Faction with the least VPs goes first as the timeline starts. Okay. That's faction turn indicator. It's a doomsday clock. Yeah, I would really love to know +1 elites or +1 military. Well, let's first pick military, I guess, because it seems like we're gonna have to do a lot of things for the military. Red Dragon Rising. The flames of the Civil War, Chinese commanders battle to capture non-controlled regions. Mao Zedong is in hiding, hoping to increase his power. Assassins are lurking around every corner, and only sufficient power will keep him alive. In his place, he has sent forth his ally Kim Il-sung and 3 liaison officers to take up a contact with Soviet High Command. One of them is an officer with a simple background, but extraordinary talent. East Asia policy updated. Okay. Event, a calamitous request from Vyacheslav Molotov. Our covertly supported groups of local tribal leaders, East Turkestan, I'm guessing from the flag, are now openly suggesting that we assume mediation between them and the Chinese authorities for their independence, calling themselves the representatives of the revolution in Urumqi. At timeline end... Okay, so we need to have... So there's... Okay, every time you have an event, you have conditions that you need to fulfill to take some of the decisions. For example, this one, we would need to have a land or air command in Urumqi. And so that would enable us to recognize the East Turkestan Republic and not merge it into China, presumably giving us some advantage as the Soviets. However, we can assassinate them, which is going to increase Mao's power. It's going to piss off the Soviet elites. It's going to reduce our influence in Urumqi, and it's going to increase the people's happiness for some reason. Or we could recognize communist Chinese claims but not do anything about it. -1 to our government, +2 power to Mao Zedong. But for some reason we cannot do it. Okay. Oh, actually, it says decide later. Okay. So here there's United States control. Right. We can deploy Peng Dehuai as the military liaison. Okay. So General Peng Dehuai takes command of local Chinese People's Liberation Army in Inner Mongolia. Commandant General Secretary, my force is the poorest and most poorly armed, just like the people we have everything to gain. My duty is to hold ourselves responsible to the people. Every word, every act, and every policy must conform to the people's interest, and if mistakes occur, they must be corrected. Okay? Alright, so Mervyn, we can activate him, or we can do things ourselves. Okay. Decisions attached to this region. Right, okay, so we can see... Okay, we take a calamitous request. Apparently, for now, it did a... Apparently, for now, it did increase American influence there, which is kind of derpy. Where can I see, like, how happy people are? Okay, I think it's this one down here. So there's financial interest. Okay, right. So this is not resources. This is... Yeah, this is the interest. Okay, so the finance is weak. The people are weak. The elites are weak. The military is relatively weak. And the government is high. Although I'm guessing that this is... Okay, so this is like your points. Right, okay. Inform. Okay. Recon. Chance to uncover USA force-oriented information. Reveals the fog of war. Intelligence reckoning the US military, FP, and arsenal strength. Infiltration. Gain 1 military or embed operatives with USA armed forces, revealing a local fog of war. Okay. False flag. Carry out operation falsely implicating the United States, granting +1 Soviet influence. I see. We could deploy reserves. Does this cost anything? Army command deployed in North Korea. Okay, it's a turn. Okay, so it's a move that makes the Americans also... Okay, so 1 move per turn. I see. The Call of Liberation. General Peng Dehuai's People's Liberation Army HQ. I've noticed Chinese General Zhu De... I've notified Chinese General Zhu De of my intentions to start a large guerrilla offensives. What we lack in firepower, we will make up in planning, cunning, and strategy. I will lead from the front lines. Either we have dispatched journalists to cover your fight for liberation. We have secretly dispatched the military supplies. +1 FP. Ooh, I am an idiot. What is FP? Hold and await dispatched military advisors. This increases Peng's power. Let's decide later. What is FP? Oh, right. It is focus points. Each grants 1 turn. I see. Well, we can... Where's my decisions? Oh, okay, it's here. Let's do this one. Call of Liberation. Increases Peng's power. Where exactly is Peng, though? State Affairs. East Asia. Right, there's Mao. We can recruit him. We can recruit Kim Il-sung. Okay, let's recruit Mao. There we go. And that was a lot of points. We spent 4 points on Mao, but he can fortify, +1 influence in local region. He can supply, restore combat status of adjacent friendly units. Can do Great Pillar Evasion Communism, spend 1 power to position 1 influence in any region on mainland China. Maoist land reform. Spend 1 power to gain 1 finance. I see. So we can increase our influence like this. Interesting. The March of New China. The ropes cut deep into my young back as the 10-year-old laborer in the fields. The barefoot bitter grain of a child with hungry belly. Wherever we go, we will unite with the people, take root and blossom to weed out poverty. So I request your instructions to reorganize Chinese forces, either decentralization -1 influence in Inner Mongolia, place +3 influence, or increase centralization +2 influence in Inner Mongolia. Let's do decentralization. We can place influence 1, 2, we gain Jinan, and then we have one more influence point that we can place in Nanjing. So we're gonna work to increase. Okay, Peng Dehuai can only be promoted if his power is greater than 15 by the end of the timeline. Okay. And he's gonna start a large-scale guerrilla offensive. Okay, so we need his power to be over 15 if we want to contain Mao Zedong. Interesting. In the meantime, we're gonna do this to increase our, what is this? Assassination. Target. We can dispose of target leaders. Right, we're gonna do a, oh, that's low chances of success. Reconnaissance. We need to use Mao again. Gain +1 influence in local region. No, we're going to gain Inner Mongolia. We've captured 2 Soviet grain merchants in a village, exploiting the peasants and seized their storehouses. What is to be their fate? Hand them over to our men for trial in the USSR. That's good. Have them trialed according to proletarian justice. So that's place +1 influence. Reprimand Peng in favor of Lin Biao for diverting. So that might give us the ability to switch to Lin Biao, but we're gonna keep Peng Dehuai, that's fine. And I'd like to place 1 influence in Nanjing. %40 chance. That's just not a lot. Also, we have very low government. Points, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, Army Command, increase influence by 1, Command Reserve. Okay, so armies can be used to increase influence. That's very good. Let's move into Urumqi. Oh. Communist tactical victory. Can the USSR provide help to restore sanitary conditions in Jinan? The historical city is crammed with refugees and plagued by disease and epidemics. So this is going to be -1 military points, or -2 military points to... Okay, yeah, we can do that. That's very good. So we can place free influence. We're gonna gain Tibet. And we are going to go for Guangzhou. Right. So now I can use... Yeah, whatever. The Return of the Prince. General Peng Dehuai. Okay. Ordered to request the transfer of Red Army officer Sergei Yunfu, better known as Mao Anying, so Mao's son, to my command HQ. So that's going to increase Peng's power and decrease our military points, or transfer him and his regiment's equipment. So that's even more. I like that because I have a lot of military points. So that's going to strengthen Peng. Air operation by fighter command in Shenyang successful. Well, that's annoying. Sensing a major attack, I have retreated and avoided a decisive confrontation with strong enemy units sent in to defeat us. I plan a pursuit of the enemy into US-controlled regions to repeatedly ambush and defeat them. Okay. +2 influence in Lanzhou. Dispatch units to help out locally or approved. +2 influence in Lanzhou would be very good. Thank you. Communist tactical victory. How great. And this turn, we can use our army over here. To increase our influence here. And take it over. God damn it. They destroyed our army in Shenyang because of their fighter command. How annoying. Racing under a narrow escape, I've managed to feint the worst brunt of what would have been a decisive battle in canalizing terrain. I'm pursuing the KMT as they suffered heavy losses and were unable to use their numerical superiority to their advantage. Work on infrastructure to normalize trade +1 finance. Or increase influence in Guangzhou. Let's increase influence in Guangzhou. So we took over that. So most of China is now ours. Go, fortified in Urumqi. Egg fried rice. Oops. Seems like Peng is dead. Or, wait, what? We should attack the US-supported KMT and Kuomintang. We need to have influence at least 1 there, or a surface fleet in Taiwan, but we cannot take Taiwan. It seems like the Americans are trying to invade us in Korea. I suggest we invade them back in South Korea. Okay, we destroyed their army command in South Korea. Very good. So what we can do now is we can deploy... Actually, no, hold on. Hold on a second. Okay, we do not... So, okay, so these guys are reorganizing. What we can do, though, is we can deploy another army in North Korea, and next turn take over South Korea. Oh, they have fighters. That's annoying. We need to solve the Formosan question. The problem is, we need to have influence at least 1 in Taiwan. And that's not gonna happen. But we can take over Urumqi. Very good. Or we can have a but we do not have a surface fleet there. Yeah, we're gonna delay it again, which is very unfortunate. Now, what's there, actually? Reconnaissance failure. Well, that's annoying. +2 influence on Nanjing. No need for influence on Nanjing. Let's approve this. Very good. So we are at 4 out of 4 and 4. However, we are very close to... Well, we're at full doomsday, but we do not have nuclear weapons, so that's no big problem. God damn it. This fighter. High-ranking enemy defector invites us to liberate a US-controlled region. Either very good, +1 FP. Send him back as an intelligence asset preventing all friendly defections, or we will interrogate him instead. +5% communist influence in East Asia. Let's do very good. Kuomintang defectors +1 FP. Very good. We take over this place. Reprimand Peng in favor of Limbiao. We request that we replace the current reform aids. They just arrived recently, sent by the USSR Ministry of Finance, but I'm ordered to relay that the men sent are once again not suited for the task. Let's decide later on this one. So, removing Maoist land reformer. Yeah, but we do not need finance. South Korea now, we took over in terms of the armies, but they still have 5 influence there. However, first we are gonna take over Yunnan. Work on infrastructure to normalize trade. Okay, so we can get Peng's power to 16. And so what that allows us to do is to go to... Wait, what? Why can we not do this? All must be X. It is all X. That's really weird. Okay, now. We can only place influence in Chinese regions. Okay, so we have all of China. What were the victory conditions again? To get 50%, I think. Something like that. Anyway, we have all of China, so that's pretty good. can improve our influence in Taiwan now. Place 1 influence. Sure, why not? Even though, like... Okay, Taiwan, we are almost ready to take it over. Okay, we need that finance point, and now we can use Mao to take over Taiwan. Okay, Soviet-style agrarian reforms. Agrarian reforms are underway in Shenyang, Beijing, Jinan, Nanjing, Guangzhou, and Chengdu. With hard work, we will achieve a complete socialization of Chinese agriculture at the end of the timeline. Prioritize regional ideological planning instead, +1 to elites, +1 to influence in Shenyang. Or prioritize regional statistical planning instead. At timeline end, good. Requires influence to be at least 2 in any of... Oh, but that's +5 to elites, but we do not care. We want finance. And what we can do now is go to decisions. Oh, we cannot take over Taiwan because I guess the event needs to happen. A rallying cry in the west. Promise abundance instead. So we can do that. We have Taiwan. Very good. And now we can use the fact that we have an army command in South Korea to take it over. We can do this. Anyway, we can actually also move this army group here. Oh yeah, gain those points. Oh, that was -5 to elites. Damn. It's pretty sad. Anyway, now we can take over Korea. Oh, we can do Chinese Dragon. Declare peace in controlled Chinese regions. Okay. So we can do that. I wonder what that does. We need some elites power because we're out of that. There we go. We are at 0 in South Korea. Communist tactical victory. +2 influence in Nanjing or this one. Okay. Use Peng to limit Mao's power. There we go. Mao Zedong has fallen from power in East Asia because we do not need it anymore. What we can do is we can, I guess, recruit Kim Il-sung. Oh, we cannot do that because we do not have the government points. How are we going to get the government point? Regarding MAO'S funeral, even a dragon struggles to control a snake in its native haunt. The sudden death of Comrade Mao Zedong was announced in a single sentence by TAS late at night. With all hope of victory gone for this war game, you can linger, explore, and conquer. Oh. Wait, what? Okay, so that's the end of the scenario? Logistical constraints. Okay, yeah. It then goes to a new thing. Yeah, because you needed to have Mao Zedong's power greater than 0. Oh well, that's the end. So that was the tutorial, essentially. I do not want to continue playing this right now, so yeah, we'll surrender for now. That was the big picture. So I want to thank you all for watching. First impressions of Terminal Conflict is that it's kind of interesting, to be honest. A new way to look at the time period in a strategy game. It has a lot of mechanics that are pretty difficult to unravel, but maybe hopefully in the future I shall have a better understanding of it all. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon. Maybe, hopefully, and I hope I'll see you soon. Yeah.